Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Brendan Lee with Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, founded by Peter Ralston. I have another question from the internet. This came off of my website. I have a discussion board on my website, and people ask me questions. And I appreciate the questions as long as they're good questions. I don't want you to be asking just for some sort of intellectual knowledge. I really want to invite you to ask me questions that are going to kick your ass or kick butt in terms of you becoming conscious of something or you having a genuine insight. If you want to do the intellectual stuff, have me over. Let's get drunk and do that. Or partake in libations and have scintillating conversation or what not. All right, from Diego. So this came off my website. So, if you have a question, please send it over. I may use it in a video because that's my main strategy, in case you hadn't noticed right now, is taking people's questions and using them to, one, further my own work, because I consider things from a different perspective, and then also give value out to you. Here's the question. Brendan and members of the forum. I've noticed that everyone seems incomplete and dissatisfied on a deep level. I've never met a complete or whole person with no unresolved stuff. No matter how many things we accomplish, acquire, become, believe, or know, even if we thought they would make us happy, in the end, emptiness remains. Are we bound to be perpetually lacking in some way? What's going on with this dynamic? How is this process to be ended? Thank you for taking the time to answer the question. Take care. Thank you, Diego. I appreciate it. So let's begin. Let us tomato, as Peter would say. I've noticed that everyone seems incomplete and dissatisfied on a deep level. I've never met a complete or a whole person with no unresolved stuff. Hey, neither have I. Okay? To be clear, unresolved issues of like mental, emotional, the person, I haven't met a person that doesn't have some shit going on. Myself included. I am not excluding myself from this consideration. All right? So now, that does seem to be the case. Now, in terms of a complete person, if you are assessing completeness based on, well, the person has no unresolved stuff, then yes, everybody will be incomplete, likely. And I want to poke in here and punch in here a little bit and cause a bit of a ruckus, or not cause a ruckus, but share even spiritual teachers. See, it looks to me like often people look at spiritual teachers, and especially some spiritual teachers that have maybe had an enlightenment experience or claim such, and then they assume that this teacher can do no wrong. They know everything, and they are somehow like put on a pedestal of they're perfect human beings because of their spiritual attainments. I call bullshit. Crap. It's crap. It's a false statement. They're a human being. They've got problems just like everybody else. Now maybe we hear tell some stories of people of renown like Buddha who are apparently completely free, completely enlightened, and there's nothing left. Now maybe that individual, there's likely not very much individual left there, if at all, probably none, in a certain way, doesn't matter. Maybe they are complete. But in terms of everybody else, no. And putting a teacher on a pedestal, I balance, though I'm going a little bit off track here, I balance between, yes, you put them on a pedestal so that you trust them, you listen to them, and you pay friggin' attention when they say something so that you can grasp something new. Because if you just kind of dilly-dally around and the teacher says something and you're like, oh, well, I don't really take them seriously, you won't take them seriously and you won't consider to the depth that you need to be able to consider to make a breakthrough, say. Now, so I see that as a necessity. It's good to have a very healthy respect for the teacher in your chosen field, whatever that is. And as I've grown in my own self, I've noticed and been able to, I want to invite you to have the skill to be able to separate the person from the teacher. Because the person could be a total turd. You don't know their private life, and it's not important. In this case, in my argument here, what's important is their communication, what they're trying to get across. Now, likely, a good teacher will make a separation and be very careful about sharing certain aspects of their life because they see that it doesn't serve the job they're trying to do. At least that's the way it is for me, more and more now. I didn't used to be this way or think this way, but I do now. Because I want to serve the people, and if I represent myself in a way that is not, that you can't take me seriously, I will fail you. And I don't want to do that. So that's off track. Now, getting back to your question, in terms of a complete person, no, like every human being's got crap going on, and some human beings are buried up to their eyeballs in the crap they have going on. Some human beings have been able to transcend some of their crap and or not take it so seriously. These are real possibilities. Okay, so in terms of unresolved stuff, we'll just let that hang for a while. And if you had a fantasy about being totally complete, I'm sorry to burst that bubble, don't discount it. You could. Why not? Be totally complete. If you're going to do that, go ahead, do that now, immediately. Don't wait. Right away. And make it happen. All right, if you can't make yourself complete right now, then likely there's some stuff you aren't conscious of. And then boom, now you've got plenty of work to do so you can stay entertained while you're still here, okay? So thank you for that aspect. Now here we go. No matter how many things we accomplish, acquire, become, believe, or know, even if we thought they would make us happy, in the end, emptiness remains. Let's address this happiness aspect. A lot of people, as far as I can tell, they think that if they gain something, they'll be happy. Or if they buy something, that'll make them happy. Or if they could just get the perfect relationship, that'll make them happy. Or if they could make $1 million, then they'd be happy. Or if they could attain and then finally be resolved through some external circumstance. Wrong. It's not going to happen that way because that's not how that works. There is no way you are going to be able to grasp and then somehow attain something external to you and have that somehow make you happy. Because happiness doesn't come from as if without. It comes from within, so to speak. It comes from you. Who's the one that needs to be happy? Who's the one that needs to be whole and complete? Is it somebody else? Because if it's somebody else, then go get them. But if it's you, then that task falls on you. And it just so happens that's the way it is. But don't believe me, check it out. All right? So now, if the task falls on you, how are you going to do that? That's the question. What is it that creates happiness? What is happiness? A lot of times people confuse happiness with like getting what they want. Or they confuse happiness with pleasure and avoidance of pain, you see? But if you look closely at pleasure and pain, they are the same dynamic. One does not exist without the other, and we are constantly seeking to avoid pain and seek pleasure. Sorry for the redundancy. What's that about? So now, what's happiness? What's real happiness? If happiness doesn't have anything to do with pleasure or pain, then what then? Then what is it? And how do you get it? As if attain it, you see? But then again, we think of happiness as something to be attained, It's out there somewhere. Maybe it's not out there somewhere. Maybe it's in there somewhere. Maybe it's an in there that transcends in and out. Hey, who knows? See, but so now I'm going to say something. Happiness is being happy whether you're in pleasure or in pain. Whether your experience is a shit pile or whether it's beautiful, wonderful, and amazing. Yeah? Happiness. You be happy. You be happy no matter what your circumstance. Then you're happy. But then you say, yeah, but my circumstance sucks. Good, then it sucks. And you're complaining about it. I've never heard that before. And I've never heard anybody, okay, yes, I have. I'm being condescending. I think it's stupid to think that way. I have a thought about some other way of thinking. I'm thinking about thinking. All right? I'm trying to poke some holes here and break you out of any blocks you might have to being happy. Stop thinking it's somewhere else. It exists in you. That's where that exists. And then it might be useful to consider, if you don't know who and what you are, if I say it exists in you, what am I talking about? All right, so how's that? So consider that. And then in addition to just considering and thinking and wondering, it's like take some action. Go out there and be happy. That's how it works. You go out in the world. If your experience sucks, you be happy about it. If your experience is great, you're happy about that. If somebody dumps you and you're in a lot of pain, you're happy. If you're getting what you want, you made that $1 million, you're happy. That's how you be happy. You do it immediately. You don't have to wait even. You can do that right now. Okay? So there's that. Now, in addition to that, there is a sort of, in my own experience, there is a freedom that comes from becoming conscious of, say, my nature, right? Having an enlightenment experience. Or having an insight or a breakthrough. And there is a happiness, a fulfillment that can come from grasping and understanding things on a deep level that, like, for example, all right, myself, this Brendan guy, yeah? When I was younger, I was not a happy camper. You see, I wasn't happy. I was unfulfilled. There was something as if missing from my life, and I sought to find out what that was. And then blah, blah story, ended up here, found my teacher, mentor, Peter Rawlson, huge amounts of love and tons of work, and then breakthroughs can occur. I grasped who I was. Later, I grasped what I am. And there's a freedom from what I previously thought was me. And that is like being released from prison. It's like if I was carrying a heavy bag, all of a sudden I can just let it go. Because I thought I had to carry the bag. Metaphorically speaking, I thought I was stuck with what I had. I thought I had to go through life the way I did. And I was wrong about that. I was definitely wrong about that. Now, that kind of, I'm going to say fulfillment, freedom, and maybe happiness or some kind of joy in there, that kind of joy doesn't come, I don't think, without the realization. So it's as if, and I don't want you to make a cosmology out of this or set what I'm saying in stone, but more that use this as an invitation for you to investigate. There is a certain as if degree or level of happiness, and I hate the word level. I hate making levels because it's something I'm making up, and if I say it, you're going to make it up, and then you might accidentally fix that as like, oh, he said there's levels. No. We're just making up levels just for fun. I don't care about levels. There is perhaps a depth of consciousness that you can have that then if you're at a certain depth, you don't experience the type of happiness or fulfillment I'm talking about. And then maybe you grasp something and then you go, oh my God, like I can actually be happy. Whereas before, my best shot at happiness was shallow by comparison. Or like Peter would say, he got, when he had his first enlightenment experience, he got that he wasn't really happy. He actually grasped, oh, I wasn't happy. Now I know what that is, what it's really like. And that can be whoa, holy crap, a realization. And that type of realization does not occur without you directly experiencing it for yourself. So obviously there's a strong invitation from my end for you to do that. And go ahead, like right now is a good time to do that. Yesterday is even better. There's don't put it into some sort of crap 20-year plan that some spiritual people tout, or in the Tai Chi world, train for 20 years and then you'll get happy and enlightened. No, do it immediately. Don't wait. That's foolish. Now about this emptiness thing. So are we bound to be perpetually trapped? Or are we bound to be perpetually lacking? No, that does not need to occur. If you say, are we bound to be perpetually lacking? I would highly recommend and invite you to consider and grasp what this we is. And perhaps starting with you. You say, I am lacking, right? I am lacking. And it keeps looking. You look out at the world and you go, holy crap, I'm lacking. I am lacking. Okay? Now for contrast, just for fun, I am not lacking. I don't lack as a human being, as a being. There is nothing that can be possibly missing. Okay? So now, using that as a contrast, other people may have, they look out, oh my God, I'm lacking. All I feel is this lack. I don't anymore. I did. Not necessarily lacking, but a certain confusion. So now if what I'm saying is true, then what's going on with you? And if you say, I am lacking, what's this I part? If you confuse yourself with something that can have lack, then guess what? You're going to experience lack. Because that's what you think you are. You probably think you are something that can have lack in the first place. How did you do that? You see, or it's like if I think I'm a shoe and I look out at the world and I see shoelaces up in my grill, I am going to perpetually think that the world is full of shoelaces in my face. And why? Why do I always have shoelaces in my face? Why do I always have shoelaces in my face? I look out at everybody else and they've all got shoelaces in their face. The problem is you think you're a damn shoe. So in this metaphor, you likely think you are something, somewhere, somehow existing, and that thing has a quality that can lack. So it's like what I call the cosmic whoopsie. You're just looking in the wrong place. You think you are something that can lack. So then it would behoove you to grasp who and what you are. So then you can know for sure if you do indeed have lack. Because maybe you don't. Maybe you already don't have lack. You just don't know it. See, and then by the way I'm speaking and what I imagine that people listening to me, the mindset that they have, and they're going to consider what I'm saying. This might sound like some stuff you've heard before, and in support of you grasping it for yourself, I want to invite you, I don't care what I said. I don't care what anybody else has said. I want you to get it. So what are you getting? Well, I would grasp who you are, real, for real. And then grasp what you are. What's your nature if you are a lacking machine? What are you? Get what you are so you can know if you have lack or not. And then do it. Don't just hear about it. Again, this is great for cocktail parties. I am A-okay with cocktail. Yeah, I'm A-okay with cocktail parties. Just make sure I have a cocktail. And we can chum it up and do the talky thing and intellectualize and have scintillating conversation. But that compares nothing to the reality of what I'm trying to invite you to do. Consider. All right, so go ahead. To say something, okay, like unleash your full contemplative potential. Go for it. Buddha didn't get enlightened by sitting around. Well, actually, no, he was sitting around, but he went for it. Okay, I hear tell. Other people, they took action. They went for it. They wanted to know what's really true, and then they discovered it. And then we have these hints of knowledge that somehow transcend good and bad or transcend lack. And we have these stories about possibilities that are real possibilities. But unfortunately, all we have left is the stories, and we need to get over the stories. If you want the reality, you need to go for the reality, not a story. Okay, so there you go. There's that. Now, there's another aspect that I want to address here. So how can this perpetually thing, so the last thing here, what's going on in this dynamic? How can it be ended? Well, I'm going to talk in sort of a different domain that may be pertinent here, like something that is maybe actionable now, is from my own experience, I used to live my life a lot more based on just like my agenda, which is like I'm trying to resolve something that I think is fundamentally wrong with me. And so then, hey, what do? I find an awesome teacher. I come to Chengxin and I start studying because I think there's something wrong with me. Right? I mean, that's pretty much literally how it went down back at the beginning, right? But then it just so happened I grabbed onto a thrust or a body of knowledge or a teacher that in the process of me studying, I transcended the crap that I was doing, and then I had to rewire a bit how I was approaching the work because I had nothing left that was driving me, you see? Well, not that I have nothing left that's driving me. That's not true. But the initial input was like, there's something wrong with me. I got to go study. Now I'm like, why do I keep going if I resolve this wrong issue part? And then so I had to craft something new, which is just go for it because it's fascinating, or go for it because I like it, or go for it because it's worth checking out and there's a lot to learn. And then that's a different than there's something wrong with me I need to then study, right? So now the other aspect I wanted to talk about here is my personal agenda used to drive me a lot more. Now it's more I've discovered principles. And I've discovered certain principles that by their nature are as if transcendent of my agenda, and or they push right through my agenda, and my agenda does not get to stand up the same way in the face of the principles. Like honesty, for example, is one such principle, and it's an ass kicker because if I'm really honest, I don't get what I want, I get honesty. Or if I operate with integrity, that's an if. I operate with integrity, I don't get what I want, I get what integrity demands. And this is a butt kicker because it demands of me not to follow just my pre-programmed agenda and crap. So it's like I'm living for something that's bigger than me as an individual, a small individual that has these wants and needs and lack, perhaps, and or a sense of unfulfillment or low self-esteem. So what I'm trying to share here is that I've recognized that there's a relationship between, for example, integrity and feeling fulfilled in life. Because I am operating out of a principle that demands that I be whole and complete, not lacking. You see? That's the power of principles. They are real. They don't exist, but they're real. I know that doesn't make any sense. What? It's the stuff that creates reality or allows reality to even show up in a particular way in the first place. And aligning with principles has a profound impact on the self and my mind and my perception and my experience. And it just so happens that, and I've noticed this over time, the more I align with the principles, the more whole and complete I feel as a human being, and the less I want to engage in the stuff that keeps me little and as if separated and unfulfilled. You see, so there's this other dynamic that is within the person here, in the relative world of life, what you and I call life, which is where we live. And aligning with principles is allowing me to actually feel fulfilled. And it's not easy for me. It's not easy. And it takes time. Kind of like soaking in water for a long period of time. Something else happens that doesn't happen before. And to put it even more simply, anybody who's listening, and I'm sure that Diego, if you're listening, which I hope you are, is you likely have skills in certain areas, whatever areas those are. Anybody who has a skill, when you started learning that skill, you sucked at it. And now years later, you're much better. Everybody who's listening to this and understanding it has the capacity to understand the English language, and you can talk. That is a learned skill. And look at how well you are. Look at how well you... Yeah, I'll learn the language. I can't talk, clearly. Look at how good you're doing. You're a master of language. When you started, you sucked, though. You ever watch kids that can't talk? You're like, what are you saying? And that's learned. So, but you didn't learn it overnight. You learned it over a long period of time. Now, the same thing with aligning with principles. You can align with principles over a period of time, and that makes a difference. It has a profound effect over time. But it does take consistent time, effort, energy. And that I see as one way, I'm open to others, to get over this sense of I'm not feeling fulfilled and whole as a human being is likely tied to your commitment to your own personal agenda and your own wants and needs. Because the wants and needs are trying to fulfill something that can't be fulfilled. And likely they're coming from a place of I'm already lacking, therefore the agenda was designed in the first place to try to fix the lack. So trying to act out the agenda will never fix the lack because it's not how it's designed to work. It's designed to push you to take action over and over again, trying to get this thing solved, the problem of life solved, and then at some point you're going to die. And you may never recognize that that's going on, but I'm here to say hello. It's a bit counterintuitive. Okay, so that's what I have for you on perhaps this sense of lack and unfulfillment. And then also, hey, go have an enlightenment experience or two. All right? That'll likely clear up a whole bunch of crap real fast. And you can do that. Anybody who says that you can't do that, or you need to go through some process, or you need to study with me for 20 years, or you need to go to the ashram and say your blah, blah, blah. Any spiritual teacher that says that is full of shit. You can become conscious. And you can do it right now because the consciousness of which I speak is already the case. It never went anywhere. You just may not be conscious, that's all. All right, so I want you to use this video to empower you in your own questioning. Diego, thank you for writing in. I appreciate it. If you have other questions, let me know. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to get serious, check some links in the description below. I want to invite you to come do more workshops, all that stuff. And it's been an honor and a privilege serving you today. This is Brendan Lee with Consciousness and Skill Worldwide, founded by Peter Ralston. Thank you very much. Take care.